All forms of resistance training seem to, again, have similar effects. So, there's this common misconception that if you're going to do strength training, you have to go into a gym, you have to do Olympic lifting or bodybuilding, and that's not true at all. So resistance-based exercise, it could be, body weight resistance exercise. You could be doing things on the ground, doing some simple, 4-point kneeling or push-ups. These type of exercises could also have the same sort of strengthening and positive benefits as doing exercises in gyms with dumbbells or barbells.
Good afternoon. Welcome, everyone. We are here at the Hungarian Sport Rehabilitation Conference in Budapest, and our guest is an internationally recognized physiotherapist, Adamem Meakinsem. Hi, Adam, and thank you for your time. Welcome to Hungary.
No problem. Thanks for the chat.
So, your presentation was called The Best Exercise for Shoulder Problems. So, my first question is there really one best exercise for shoulder problems and pains?
The simple answer is no. The research and the evidence is saying that all exercises seem to have the same sort of effect on reducing pain and improving function. But I don't think that means that every exercise works the same for every patient. So I think there's a lot of individual variation. And so really I think the best exercises for people's painful problems is based on their problems that they have and making it fit the person and their issues.
And what about the preventions? Is there any, best exercise to prevention?
Well, no, there's nothing, again, in the evidence that shows that any type of exercise has got more preventative measures than another one. I mean, exercise and a healthy lifestyle in general is preventative from getting problems and pain and pathology. But is there one type of exercise that's better than the other one? I'm going to say no.
Why are shoulder problems so common, not in sports, but in daily life also?
Well, the shoulder is a joint that's got the most mobility. We use it for a lot of tasks and activities. So I think, it's quite susceptible to being overloaded and overstressed at times. I also think it's a joint that obviously struggles with its stability, and sometimes, that can sometimes stress and aggravate things as well. So I think a combination of mobility and stability and regular use is the main reason why we get a lot of shoulder issues.
You mentioned that strength training is also, not a prevention, but can help prevent these bigger problems in the future. What kind of strength training?
That's a great question. So all forms of resistance training seem to, again, have similar effects. So, there's this common misconception that if you're going to do strength training, you have to go into a gym, you have to do Olympic lifting or bodybuilding. And that's not true at all. So resistance-based exercise, it could be, body weight resistance exercise. You could be doing things on the ground, doing some simple, 4-point kneeling or push-ups. These type of exercises could also have the same sort of strengthening and positive benefits as doing exercises in gyms with dumbbells or barbells.
Yeah, I understand. You mentioned exercises from daily life. Yeah.
Just body weight stuff, and sometimes using things around the house to add extra loads, picking up bags of laundry or shopping, children. They can be useful pieces of equipment as well to help get shoulders stronger, yeah.
You often say that reach should stay simple. What do you mean by that?
So not overloading patients with too many things at the same time. I see a lot of therapists and physios giving, patients sometimes sheets of exercises, 6 or 7 or 8 things to do to help their painful problems. And I think it's often because of this fear of I've got to give more to get better results, to get more outcomes. I actually think less is more. So I think when it comes to keeping it simple, it's about not overloading or giving people too many exercises at the same time. 1 or 2, maximum 3 things, I think, is probably more than enough for most people.
Yeah, and you are very active on the social media platforms. You give advices, people who have problems. What about this, websites or news, something like, do this 4 exercise and the miracle is going to happen? What is your opinion?
The trouble with this day and age now, there's so much information out there, it can be hard for people to know what is good information, what is accurate information, what is misinformation. And, I get fooled by it sometimes, so I'm sure a lot of patients do as well. It's about, I think, just keeping your mind skeptical about a lot of info. If it sounds too good to be true, it often is too good to be true. I think that's a simple rule.
Many people are told to rest when they have pain. Do you think that's a mistake or it depends?
That's a great question. I think it depends. So I think some period of avoiding aggravating things when they're sore and uncomfortable can be really beneficial for some people. It's about how much to avoid and how long to avoid things. That's where the problem starts to come in, I think. So when people are told to rest for too long or to avoid any pain, that's where I think sometimes there's detriment. I think if we can try and find that balance of saying don't push too hard, don't aggravate it too much, give it a period of time to calm down, but then gradually build it back up is probably what most people need with painful problems.
What are the biggest mistakes you see in shoulder rehab programs?
Like I said, giving too many things to patients all at the same time, making it too complicated, and asking patients to do too many exercises all in one go. So I think those are the most common things.
Yeah, me mentioned this one, okay. You often speak against fancy rehab trends.
Yeah.
What do you think therapists should focus on instead of these fancy trends?
So I'm a big believer of building up robustness and resilience into people. So I think it's about, just building up comprehensive capacity and strength and confidence to movements is what we want to do, rather than focus on the minute muscles and the individual little biomechanical factors. Just get people to feel confident and strong and robust to move in all sorts of ways. That's what we should be focusing on in our rehab.
How do you motivate patients to keep doing their exercises when the progress feels slow?
That's a great question. I think there is a good role here for getting patients to come in regularly. And I think, sometimes patients need to have that contact with somebody, like a therapist, to be able to feel like, it gives them accountability. I'm going to go and do my exercises today with somebody motivating me and doing it, rather than just leaving them to do it on their own at home. So I think sometimes stepping up and adding a little bit of support, motivation, and accountability helps patients to carry on and do the exercises. But I also think education is really important. It's making sure that patients are aware that, exercises aren't a quick fix a lot of the time. They do have to have their expectations managed well. But often it takes months for things with exercises to start to show significant improvements. So I think once you help patients realise that and they accept that, then they can sometimes get down, knuckle to it and get through it.
What are your advices for the young therapist?
I think I always tell young physios, the number one thing to do with your patients who come to see you is make sure they are aware that you genuinely give a shit about their problems. That you are there, present, and you want to help this person with their current situations to the best of your ability. When you can demonstrate that to a patient, it makes everything else easier. When a patient starts to like, trust, and respect you, it makes your assessments, it makes your interventions, and ultimately the patient's outcomes so much better. So work hard on building a good relationship and having good communication skills with your patients, because that is the foundation of everything.
What is your opinion about this conference? Why is this important to meet physiotherapists or people from the medicine to talk about those things?
Yeah, I think conferences help people, they meet to network, to share ideas, to learn new things, which is what we want to be trying to do as often as possible. And I also think it's just good for a bit of social support and interaction. This job we do can be quite isolating, it can be quite challenging. And so meeting up with like-minded people to be able to, talk about the struggles and the problems we all have, I think is hugely therapeutic for us as well. So I think, being able to come to an event like this, listen to some ideas, pick up some new thoughts, but also, share your problems with other friends and colleagues goes a long way to making us feel a bit better, to help patients feel better as well.
Okay, thank you so much and enjoy your time in Budapest.
Thank you very much. Cheers.